What's going on, everyone? I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Good old hump day, Wednesday, midway through the week. We're going to be looking at the SP 500 futures E-mini contracts. All right, we're breaking it down from the top down this time around, monthly, weekly, daily, down into our 30-minute time frame profile. Getting into the nitty gritty of what occurred today, kind of a choppy mess early on in the day, then ended up turning into somewhat of a B-shaped profile, and we'll show you that here in just a minute. But so far, in our monthly, still in balance for me, right? Nothing's changed for me. Still in balance, still trying to find acceptance above that 41.41 level this month. Say it's one time frame and up, but for me, I'm calling it balance. My balance high is 43.2750. My balance low is 35.02. So if we take out one of those two, then I will be saying either the monthly is one time framing up at that point, or the monthly will be one time framing down. So all that means is it's taking out previous monthly highs, right? So if we're one time framing up, we're taking out previous monthly highs. That's why I say you can say this monthly is one time framing up this month, right? We come out of an inside month. We took out December's high, right? So and January's high. So you could say it's one time framing up, but for me, I need acceptance over that 41.41 level and get above the 43.2750 level. Now let's go down into our weekly. Weekly so far, we are still one time framing up. 4 weeks in a row. 5 weeks if you include this week, but I'm calling it 4 weeks in a row. Um, we are an inside week so far, so meaning we're inside of last week's range, right? We need to take out last week's high or low to either put the daily um, back into a balance. However, if we close this week inside of this week's or last week's range, if we close this week inside of last week's range, meaning this week will be an inside week bar, I will say that the weekly is up to balance, but we still have 2 days, 2 trading days left in the week. We'll see how we close out the week. Still a lot of room to either side, and as a good possibility that you could take out either side. But what has the market been trying to do over the past several days, over the past several weeks? We've been trying to move higher, right? We've been taking out previous time frames highs and setting higher lows. So this week took out that week's high. This week took out that week's high. This week took out that week's high, right? And so on and so forth. So we've been setting higher highs, higher lows on our weekly. Now let's go into our daily. As you can see, the daily not quite finding acceptance above that 41.41 level. But we are in a daily balance on the daily time frame. Daily is in a balance, right? Uh, Today was an inside day. I was looking forward to that yesterday. In yesterday's video, I was talking about how would not be surprised if we traded inside of today's range. So today was an inside day. Tomorrow we'll look to come out of the inside day and see what kind of continuation we get or lack of continuation. If we take out the downside, you'll look to take back the rest of that trend day from the 1st of February and potentially test that 20-day moving average I've been talking about, which is right around 40.50 level, 40.60 level. So almost near that day's low. But um, if we did come out of the inside day to the downside, take out our balance low here, the daily would resume one time frame and down again. And then, however, if we took out the high, uh, came on the inside day to the upside. You got some continuation, got some steam boiling, and finally got above that 42.08 level and filled this gap overhead. Then we will just set up a lower high on our daily, right? So that's what the trend's been doing, right? We've been setting up uh, higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Do we continue that trend? after we've broken out of this downward trend that we've been in all of last year, right? Just trend down all of last year. All of our moving averages have curled up a little bit. Both the 50 and the 20-day moving average are above the 200. Does it stay like that? Do we come back test it, maybe roll back over? Those are questions that we're trying to figure out. But for right now, the monthly's balance, weekly's up, daily's balance. So things are starting to change on the smaller time frame. We can see that here in the 30-minute profile here in just a second. One thing I want to look at real quick. Actually, we'll look at it at the end. We'll look at DraftKings. I had a swing trade on, and it's been holding up pretty well. Have not taken it off yet. I'll review it here in just a minute. Let's go down into our 30-minute profile and see what occurred. So yesterday I was talking about how if we could not take out the high, we could not take out the high, then you'd look to potentially rotate near the low. We never even got near the low of the day. So I also said if we opened up inside of the value area and inside the previous day's range or inside the previous day's range, you'd kind of get a day that looked like this where we're 13 for 13 wide. Well, you kind of had that. As we opened up inside of the value area, kind of pushed up but never got near the previous day's high. We never got near the previous day's high. B period took out A's high, right? So the first hour of the day, the initial balance was set. And then we took out the initial balance low in C period. We had our overnight low near A's low. We got it. So sellers started to have a few things in their hand. Sellers had gotten the overnight low, the initial balance low, two things in their corner. All buyers had at the moment was value was overlapping to higher at the time because value was around A's low to right above G's high from yesterday. And then we finally got it basically totally unchanged. We went trend in C period after taking out the initial balance low, so we create a small set of single prints. And what I mean by single prints is basically as one area where one time frame went through that price point. Kind of like back here on this day, this is a good example of a single print where K period pushed up and no other time frame came back through that area. That was a single print, whereas everything else, like L and M right here, they were a double print. J and K through this area were a double print. A, B, C, D, E, I and J, K, they were like, multiple prints through that time frame, through that price at that point, right? So single prints were right here. So I was kind of like today, C period, at the time, only one time frame had passed through those price points from what was that? From 49.75 until D's high at 40.47.75. So 3 points of single prints were left there. We didn't revisit it until later in the day, but not before we set or create another set of single prints after we one time frame down in D period, create another set, pretty decent size. They were over about 10 points at the time. And then in E period, we kind of set a new low in the day. So what was happening is we had things were getting in sellers' favors, right? We had the overnight low. We had one time framing down. We had the initial balance low. And then at this moment, we now have the opening for sellers because we haven't revisited the opening. So things were starting to get into the seller's favor. And then we had single prints in C period, one time frame down, single prints in D period, and where we're starting to get really good extension, range, and volume to the downside. So those are the things you start to look for as a seller. How much extension did C get from A's low? How much extension did D get from C's low? Well, and then finally in E period, what's the market been trying to do? The market's been trying to go down, but we started to get a little overextended as E took out D's low, and that was kind of a nuance. You didn't get much extension from D's low. You took it out, you continued to one time frame down, you set a new low in the day, but you didn't get much extension, and we came back up into the single prints, closed inside the single prints, so we left just a very small set on the day right in here. And then finally, we took it back later in the day. E, F, G grinded up into them, and then finally, H period popped, filled it, popped and filled that set. Um, really good opportunity to short once it got into the next set of single prints in C period. We left just a few points left, not a lot. Still set of single prints there in H period, but a really good risk reward short opportunity as we pushed into it, got above D's high, so you could have shorted right around where the single print started at the time at D's high, right? You could have entered a position here and added up into the single prints and then got out above the opening. So 53, if you wanted to really risk some points, you could have taken a short at D's high, which was at 47.75. Put your stop above the open at 53, because if you got above that, then you might let some more steam out of the pot and this thing push up. So, and then you could have added into the single prints where they filled around 49 and 50, right? So you're only risking about 3 to 4 points for this thing to rotate back down near the low. Also, we were creating a wider point of control down here at the time, so that's what you were looking to happen in D. So you could have taken a short in that set of single prints, let it rotate down, and as it came back through and into G period's range, you could have taken it off for a really nice gain from 50 basically down to 40 handle, gotten about 10 points out of that trade, and you were only risking roughly. You were only risking. I don't know why I'm playing music. You were only risking a few points to the down or to the upside. Then I period. Uh, we actually were stopped the one time framing in F, G, H. Right, we were one time framing up at that point. Um, and then you stop the one time framing up in I, resume one time framing down, taking out previous time frame lows in J period, but J was a reversal bar by taking out both I's low and I's high. Then we resumed back in K, L, Larry, we set a new low on the day, Curly, Larry, and Mo. Three Stooges didn't do a whole lot. Larry was the craziest one out of all of them, as it did decide to set a new low on the day, and then M closed back inside the day's range. So essentially, all today looked like was a B shape for long liquidation. We go with today's high, today's low, a 9Y point of control at M's high, afternoon rally high in J period, and then a set of single prints left in C. So we go out with a double distribution day, high, the low, 9Y point of control, afternoon rally high, and I'll mark those here in just a second. I want to review my trade real quick. I took a few trades, did well in the day early on, but gave some back later in what time frame was that? I want to say, oh, okay. I got short in I period and got stopped out. That's what it was. I was short in I period, but before that, I had really good trades leading up into that. I only had a few trades. I took a short in E period against the large set of single prints overhead. So I was shorting in E period, shorting around 35. If the single prints filled, I would have gotten out. Um, but prior to me getting filled in that set of single prints, I'd seen that we were at the low in E period tempo and extension was lacking. So I actually took a long in E period before I got short. Took a long because its extension past D's low wasn't very much. So I entered around 27 on the push back up to get back into the single prints. And then exited around 30.50. So I only took about a 3 point gain out of that from 27.50 to 30.50, but still a good trade. And I was still looking for the short I got short in E period. It backed off a little bit. I took it off for maybe a point. And then in F period, I shorted again. At 37, I had my bid in around 37 area. We pushed up. My stop was slightly above where the single prints filled at 42. We pushed up into it. It was a good short against E's high at the time as well before we popped E's high. Because E's high was right around 37.25. We opened up near E's high, didn't take it out. We wanted to defend the one time framing down initially early on. So as soon as E or F period opened up, I was short 37, and then we came in pretty good. I took it off at 34, so a 3-point gain there. However, we did pull in quite a bit more. We actually rotated down and set the low in F period at 27.50. So I was short 37, came in 27.50. So I got 3 points, could have caught 10, but I was not expecting that because we had been lacking in volume at the time to push this thing lower. And then finally, F takes out E's high. We stop the one time framing down, get into the single prints a little bit. And so I wanted to say I wanted to wait for the next short opportunity at a little bit of a higher price to see how much of a relief we could get out of the laggard shorts that were getting trapped down here in E and F period, right? People were shorting down here, they weren't getting paid. So once we popped, I wanted to see how much of that pressure we would relieve. So I was looking for short just before where the single prints filled, and at the time we also had the 144 simple moving average on a 1 minute chart that was right around C's low. So things were starting to line up pretty good, and I had my offer in. Let's see, because we did come up in G period. I had my offer in ready to short. I was looking to short. I got short 40 exactly. So high was 42. We missed filling the single prints by 2 ticks. So I got short 40 on the push back in and then exited at 38. And we came in a little bit more in G period as well. And I could have held on for a few more points. I even wrote that in my notes. Maybe hold on for a few more points besides just getting 2 out of it. But we pushed in, set the low in G period, and then came back up in the time frame. I didn't do anything in H period because I was eating. And then in I period, I got long around the 144 area. Got stopped out as we took out H's low. I got stopped out for a pretty good loss as I had my stop a couple points away, rotated down, and so on and so forth. So took a loss on that and then actually gained back the points that I lost in J period on a short after we had taken out after we gotten below the 144 on the 1 minute. So if I were to go to 1 minute here, we had just gotten below right around in this area, and I got short here to come back lower. So I caught a really good short there. I was short around 33 or below the 144. I wanted to see if we get around value low. We pushed up into 35 handle. I added to the position. We came down to around 31. So I exited the full trade on the 2 lot that I had at the time for a nice little gain on the one that I added at 35, and then on only like a 1 1/4 gain on the one that I shorted at 33 initially. And then after that, I was flat because I didn't like the price action, which was a good idea due to the fact that we didn't do a whole lot more. And actually in J period, we had a reversal bar. So after I got out of my short, we seen, and another thing I didn't like was the fact that we were holding around the 30. We were battling between this 30 and 34 area. We were seeing some absorption, and J, we pop up, get a relief, and then we just roll over and set a new low in the day. And I didn't trade the rest of the day. So let's mark our destinations, talk about some if-then statements. I know that was a little long-winded. I do appreciate you guys stopping by and watching these videos. If you do like the content, leave a like. If there's anything I can do, please leave a comment and let me know what I can do better. So we got our high day here. High of day. We have a set of single prints here in C period. They start at 49.75. Or excuse me, they fill at 49.75 because this is an upside set. Single prints fill here. They start at H's high at 48.25. So I believe like a point and 3/4 worth of single prints. Print start here. We have our afternoon rally high, and that the short J period was actually a really good short opportunity. I just wasn't feeling it. Didn't know how much they wanted to relieve. Afternoon rally high, and this would be considered a textbook afternoon rally high due to the fact that we have a set of single prints overhead. We have a set of single prints overhead, and J took out I's high, so afternoon rally high here. We have our 9 wide point of control here at M's high at 134. So it just means 9 time frames out of the 13 traded back and forth through this area. If I can type 9 wide point of control. What is going on today? Wide point of control, and then we have today's low of day at 21.25. So this is how I mark my destinations. Nothing too crazy, but just so when we get there, I know, all right, we're getting near these areas. Maybe we'll look to short here. Maybe we'll look to try to find a long here. So we have double distribution day. First upper distribution is B's high to A's low. So that is the upper distribution. The lower distribution is H's high to the day's low in L period. So if we open up in the lower distribution below the 9 wide point of control and we cannot take out today's low, then you'll look to rotate up into that 9 wide point of control, get the afternoon rally high, and test the top of our the upper portion of the lower distribution in H period at 41, 48, 25. If we get above that, then you'll look to fill the set of single prints and then find acceptance into the upper distribution. If we open up above in the lower distribution above the 9 wide point of control and we can't get above the afternoon rally high or into the set of single prints, then you'll look to rotate down into 41.3403 9 wide and test the day's low. Now if we open up above the afternoon rally high, above the set of single prints, and in the upper distribution and we can't take out today's high, then you'll look to rotate down lower and get to that 9 wide point of control, because if you open above the afternoon rally high and that single prints, those go away and all you are left with as a downside destination is 41.3403. So far since M period closed in the lower distribution, upside destinations are 41.34 even, afternoon rally high in J at 41.4375, set of single prints where they start at 41.4825, they fill at 41.4975, then you don't have anything until 41.68, and then our next daily high at 41.8825 coming out of the inside day. As far as downside destinations go, we have today's low at 41.2125, we have 40.9825, And then we have 40, 89, 75 where the single prints fill. So the single prints start at 98, they fill at 89. And as far as that goes, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for stopping by. I said we were going to look at DraftKings. I lied. Gotcha. This is a pretty long video, so if you stuck it out to the end, congratulations. You win a cookie. Go get it out your fridge or your cabin or wherever you keep cookies. We'll catch you guys in the next one. See you.